Ahoy, shipmates! Let's see. Lovely morning here in the port of Southampton. Blue skies, blue water, and no wind. Here we have the Red Kestrel coming towards us. That's the freight-only ferry for the Isle of Wight. And in the background was the Red Falcon, who just asked the cruise ship, can I pass green to green? As you can see, there's quite a narrow gap there. You squeeze through, and followed by the Spitzer-Bargate tug. Squeezing into the gap there between the Silver Spirit and the cruise ship coming towards us. What is this cruise ship, you may ask? Well, perhaps the giveaway is the Silhouette, or probably more likely the rather large Union Jack painted on her bow. Who else could it be? It's the Britannia. By the way, that Union Jack painted on the bow of the Britannia is in fact the largest Union Jack in the world. So the Britannia is returning again to the port of Southampton. I say again because they've been in and out, pretty much on a weekly basis during this lockdown. When they're not in port, they're often at anchor in the nav anchorage or in Weymouth Bay. Now I know what you're asking. Where's the Britannia been? Well, wouldn't you like to know? Well, let's have a look on the map, shall we, and find out. Oh, she's been down in Weymouth Bay, hanging out with the Ventura and Oceana. I'm not quite sure what that wiggle was there. Avoiding something, perhaps. Round Bramblebank and back into the port of Southampton. It's been a tricky time lately to be able to get out, even though it's been sunny and clear skies. The extensive wind is not good for flying. I've had to cancel quite a lot of droning. And when it wasn't windy, it was wet. So what with the wind and the wet, this is the first time I've been able to get out in a while. I've sped up this section, in case you wondered. I'm sure you already knew. And as she begins to start her swing around, I will go back to normal speed. She's going to swing around and stern into berth 46. Berth 46 is next to berth 44, where the Titanic famously departed on her maiden voyage. Maybe time for a few facts and figures about the Britannia. Britannia is the largest of the 6 ships currently in the service, with P&O. And she's also the flagship. Launched in February 2014. Christened by Queen Elizabeth II, no less. Costing £473 million. Which weighs 143,000 gross tons and has a length of 330 metres and a beam of 44 and a height of 70 metres. In fact, Britannia is 10 metres taller than I can actually fly in this area. We are currently under the approach path to Southampton Eastleigh Airport, and there is a restriction of 60 metres height, which seems a bit odd considering the cruise ship is 70 metres tall, but There we go. I didn't make the rules up, I just followed the rules. There are 15 passenger decks. And you can see the old bow thruster is starting up there. I'm not sure of the power of the bow thruster. A little difficult to find out the exact details, but I imagine it's quite powerful. Total installed power is 48,000 horsepower. Must be a few thousand horsepower on the bow, I would imagine. I think it's time for a photo. Not bad. I quite like the reflection of the windows on the water. I should have made more use of that with I think a different angle. Yeah, it's okay. It's one of the many difficulties of trying to make a video and take pictures at the same time. I'm not really sometimes in the right space. There's some wonderful reflections coming off those windows this morning. Yeah. Speed is 21.9 knots or 40 kilometers an hour for you metric types. 25.2 miles per hour in Queen's language. Total number of passengers on board is 3,647 with a crew of 1,398. In fact, I'm so close to the ship I can't fit the entire length of Britannia on the screen all at the same time. How about that? It's still reasonably quiet here in the port of Southampton. We have a reduced ferry schedule running to the Isle of Wight. And the Red Jet, which is the passenger-only high-speed service, is still suspended. The wonderful Hythe ferry, which goes to the pier that you can just about see above the stern of the Britannia. The Hythe ferry is a wonderful little foot passenger-only ferry that travels between Hythe and Town Quay in Southampton. It's a very short journey, but it saves a massive road journey from car. By car it would take anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour to get from those 2 points, but it's a mere 10 minutes on the Hythe ferry. The Hythe ferry, from where it docks in Hythe on the pier there, has the longest pier train in the world. I think when it reopens I may take a little trip on there if people are interested to see the Hythe ferry. You can certainly see the mud being stirred up here in the water. I wonder if you look behind the Britannia, you can probably see that you can see a lot of the shore, and this is because it's a very low tide at the moment. I wonder if this is why we're particularly noticing the mud being stirred up. You can see maybe you can't see, but there are a number of seagulls flying around. I'm guessing there's some sort of sea life that gets stirred up and they fly off and peck at the bits that are floating around. Yeah, I think she's just arresting the swing of the stern. I can sense another photo opportunity here. It's not the most photogenic of scene, is it, with great muddy waters? But it's unusual. Alas, time Time to change the battery again. And we're back. As you can see, the great muddy water that's stirred up. I suppose it's interesting for a different change of colour. Rather than the green or blue, we have a muddy brown. Possibly taupey in colour? I don't know. Not into my colours. As you can see, she's nicely slipping back into berth 46. I don't know if you knew, but there are 8,000 pieces of art on Britannia, valued at approximately £1 million. This collection was curated by Tom Tempest Radford, and there are submissions from painters, sculptors, ceramicists, textile artists, jewellers, goldsmiths and silversmiths, most of them British. The majority of the artists are female. Works include a series of 18 dyed and hand-woven textile artworks called Beyond the Sea, a homage to blue by Potterly Man. Her work will grace the wall of one of the 3 communication stairwells. Curator Tom Tempest Radford says that women are better at surfaces and textures, and Britannia has a huge variety. Women can really craft materials that create an incredible depth and flavour. There's also a piece of work which reflects modern Britain, depicting Doctor Who, the Queen, Mary Berry, Noel Gallagher, Monty Python, James Dyson and Bradley Wiggins. And these 2 pieces are unique and reflect the spirit of modern Britain and are produced by artist Johnny Bull. Well, from this angle we get a view of the city of Southampton. Nice bright early morning sun. She certainly doesn't hang around, does she, Britannia, when she's docking? Straight back into the dock. Apparently there's a great selection of artisan gins on board, with 20 strong menu. And these feature many gins from around the UK. I'm not fully aware of the entire menu, but it seems that they're missing out the distillery on the Isle of Wight, which I can recommend. The Isle of Wight gin, or mermaid gin, is wonderful and comes in a particularly glorious Italian Murano glass bottle. Their distillery is in fact on the Isle of Wight, and you can pop into the factory store, view the distilling process, have a sample and purchase a bottle there and then on the spot. Now there's also a range of 70 different bottled beers and ales, ciders from over 56 UK counties, making it the largest range of British beer available at sea. That's something I would certainly look forward to. No mention of rum, though. No, I can diversify my palate with an ale and a gin. Now you can see the old bow thruster coming back on again to bring her to. There's a rather large chandelier feature, which has 280 acrylic shards in various hues of pink, silver and gold. Part chandelier, part sculpture. The 8-metre long starburst installation draws inspiration from the nighttime stars. It's simply full of wonderful pieces of artwork and fine beer. I look forward to my trip on Britannia. It's not often I take a photograph straight onto the bow, so I think I will have a little move across and see what we can come up with. Waiting for a tug that you can't see. There's a small tug. There we go. There we go. I had to wait for the tug to go past. I thought it might add a bit of interest. Yeah, not too bad. I think the muddy waters are really spoiling the images. Or maybe they're not. Maybe it's interesting for a diversity of colour. It is, after all, a port. We are not in the Bahamas. Now the tug has gone, I can have a little scoot around here for a more traditional 3/4 shot. No, I think a little bit further. Okay, let's snap away. This could be my last opportunity to take a picture of Britannia here quite so easily. Normally there's another cruise ship on the 44 berth, the Titanic berth. But today there's a space. Where I am at the moment would often be the stern of the Queen Victoria. Oh, I cannot get that close to the ship. Yeah, unfortunately we didn't get to see the swimming pools on top due to our flight restriction envelope here in the area of the port that's underneath the flight path to Southampton Eastern Airport. But if we did, you can see there are a number of swimming pools on top of the Britannia. There's the Lido pool and the Serenity pool, the Terrace pool and the Riviera pool. There's even a teenage-only pool on the 5th deck. And an indoor pool. The total water required to fill all these pools is 61,600 gallons. Where does all this water come from, you might ask? Well, the ship produces her own water from the onboard diesel generators. And in one day, she can produce 1.8 million litres of water. Approximately 1,500 tonnes of drinkable water produced from the sea. Quite impressive when you think about it. There's an awful lot of water usage on board, and all those people showering and washing up and cooking, and of course swimming in their pools. And we can see now that she's really quite close to the quay, and if you look closely you can see some shipmates on the bow, ready to throw some lines down to the dock hands. In fact, I think they're just about to throw the lines. How about we have a little zoom in and see if we can catch them in the act? What do you think? There we go. I can see them bringing the line to shore. Look at them scurrying across. Yep, he's tied it off there. The old bow thruster is still being powered just to keep the ship against the quayside. There's no wind today, so should make docking a relatively easy operation, but with a ship of this size you do have to be careful. Well, if you've ever seen the popular BBC television programme Strictly Come Dancing, you can enjoy the experience on board. The Britannia runs a 14-night Strictly Come Dancing cruise to the Canary Islands. I'm not sure they're doing it this year, but in previous years it's been very popular. There are a number of Strictly Come Dancing stars on board at the same time. I'm afraid I am ignorant when it comes to the world of Strictly Come Dancing. I know you might think I'm at home on a Sunday night watching the ladies in their spangly diamonds, but no, I am not. Well, it's coming to the end of another battery here, shipmates. I think we'll have to leave the docking action for another day, as I need to land before I drop into the water. Until next time, shipmates.